We spoke about what is will, what is the willing center, what happens when it awakens, and what is the ultimate will. The ultimate will, that is the one will to rule them all, which is the will at all circumstances to be free, which is the one will that is completely aligned with the nature of life in us, to forever evolve, expand, and rise beyond and above our limits. So these were our two talks yesterday, and to present the third talk, we will first watch a piece of movie. I guess that by now everyone who knows me knows that I'm crazy about movies. So yesterday I told you about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So we'll get a taste of this movie now. It is, I will just give you, it is actually very much at the beginning of the movie, after a few minutes. After this, you remember this split monk, that master that wants to get enlightened, but also wants to relax with his woman and forget all about anything, which is quite a known split, and we'll talk about it today, because there is something deeper behind it. And then there is this monk, this master gives away his sword, because he decides that he is not going to use his sword anymore. It's the sword of his master. But then some unknown thief steals in the middle of the night this sword. The woman that his beloved tries to save the sword from this unknown thief. Okay? So this is basically why do we already have? Why did we watch it? It is because in any good martial arts movie, and this one in particular, the fighting is not really fighting. It is a dance. And although it seems like two enemies, one against one another, there are so many moments in which it is unclear if they are performing something together for the sake of beauty, or really striving to kill each other. And about this dance we are going to speak this morning. How, because this seems like a fighting scene. But if we see how this can be made into a dancing scene, there is a very great inspiration in our own life. Third dimension is a dimension of friction. Do you know what friction is? In the deepest sense, friction is when two forces get in touch with each other and create a certain discomfort. There is a sort of a struggle to check which is stronger. And they are pushing against each other. And this creates, yes, discomfort, but also there is a lot of intensity, a lot of energy in the moment of friction. Now, many of us don't like the friction of life. Friction is when we have the states of discomfort and challenge when things seem disharmonious in a disappointing way. It's like we want it harmonious, relaxing, peaceful. But then we feel this grinding feeling in the third chakra, in the solar plexus. Also, by the way, in this school, right? What happens in this school? Because this is a school of transformation. It is not a school of feel good. And there is a huge difference. Sometimes we say, yeah, let's transform in a happily. But in any real process of transformation, there is friction involved. And truly, without friction, there can be no transformation, no growth, no change. And still, whenever there is friction, we resist. Because we resist, it doesn't look like this, it looks like fighting. We experience the third dimension as fighting. And this is why, by the way, we try to escape always to other dimensions and resist the lesson of this dimension. We want to say that life does not have to involve struggle. That life doesn't have to have the element of struggle to overcome. And trying to escape and resisting this element that is so crucial, first of all, weakens us, gives us much less power than we could have, prevents our transformation or delays it greatly, because life doesn't care whether we like it or not. It forces on us the friction. Because life is friction in so many ways. And makes us live in a feeling that life is not a struggle to overcome, but life is a battle that we don't like. And this is the thin line separating dancing with friction, because there are two different forces, dancing, making it into a dance, or staying with it as a fight. And here, to this morning, I'm going to teach. There is the Jesus commandment, love thy enemy. Remember? So I'm teaching love thy friction. Love your friction. this feeling of discomfort, to learn how to reach a state in which we no longer try to eliminate it, but really accept it as the true and blessed nature of life. Then something miraculous happens. Then there is no more sense of battle. There is still a struggle, but struggle seems beautiful, essential. Without struggle, we suddenly cannot live. Not always, please. Don't now get a picture that I'm describing. I'm saying when it's relevant. It's not. I will come to it. It's not like there always needs to be a sense of struggle. Just like there shouldn't always be a sense of peace. You see? Now, everyone says they want to live in perfect peace. Is it true? Everyone. It's like people always say, oh, let us pray for world peace in which nobody ever harasses anyone. Everyone lets the other live in complete harmony. We always accept each other, and so on and so on. Now try to imagine such a world. Okay, we have evolved and have reached world peace. Like in our own life, in our collective life, that's it. Everyone wakes up in the morning, absolutely no friction. Everyone is perfect. It's like everyone works exactly like an unbelievable plan of perfection, of genius. Nothing distorts. It's like you go to work. The work is exactly the same, the hours that you want. And you get exactly the amount of money. And your relationship is perfect. It's like you go to your partner and you love each other, always. You never disagree. And all the nations live in peace, always. Now, if this still seems attractive to you, then think again. Then I think this will be the end of humanity, because humanity will die out of boredom. You see, boredom will kill us, not anything else, not wars. There will be some kind of a mass suicide out of boredom. Because we have a certain image within us, an image of perfection, where nothing ever disrupts, neither in the inside nor in the outside. We all love each other. We are all in harmony. Everyone is smiling. There's not even a moment of discomfort. The chairs are always perfect. The food is always perfect. It's like everything. And that's why we harbor this fantasy of heaven, you see? Like when you go to heaven, there's just you, the angels. Everyone is playing the guitar. It's like a rainbow gathering. Everyone is like into peace and love. There's like every evening dinner with God. You all sit, you bless, you hug each other. And like that for eternity. Okay, now if you want that, good luck for you. The thing is that you don't understand that at a certain point you would create a friction, either inside you or outside you. Why? Because without friction, there is sleepiness. Everything in us becomes less and less wakeful. We see it, by the way, in countries in which everything works like more ideal than everywhere else. Then you get, of course, really wonderful conditions, but something is missing. And I'm not saying, please understand, I'm not saying we need wars to have friction. We'll talk about this. It's not like we need hatred and disasters. But I'm just talking about the very principle of life as friction. When, for example, if I go to perfect locations, and from time to time I had the pleasure of having that, like being in somewhere that is so pastoral, it's like so ideal, without, everything is so quiet and peaceful. But also the people seem like almost they are going to fall asleep. It's like there is this, everything is okay, you see. Then what I do is I begin to create within me a friction. You see? It's like I can't accept it because for me, aliveness must thrive on, of course, there is the element of silence and quietude. You know, I speak of it from time to time, and I speak from it all the time. But for me, there has to be a sense of revolution. Revolution is the feeling that if everything is perfect from the outside, we begin to revolt. We begin to create our own friction to steer the energies. You see? And I remember, by the way, that when I used to move to perfect places, there was something horrified in me. I asked myself, but what am I going? What will be of the teaching, the knowledge? Because I might fall asleep. But then I came to trust my own inner revolution. Then I realized that wherever I am, even in heaven, I would be a troublemaker. You see?
Which were the perfect?
I'm sorry?
Which locations are you referring to?
Like, you want me to recommend? Like in India or in Israel, when I lived in the Galilee, in the north of Israel, in nature, places like places usually of nature, or in here when I used to live in Clado, which was like a shockingly beautiful spot, and everything was so nourishing. So, because you know how it is, by the way, there is the suburbs of a city where everything is quiet, but also boring. There is nature, but also there is nothing. And then you go to the city. The city is torture, but it's also friction. There is a good reason why cities, with all their huge disadvantages, they are usually the places where culture emerges. Because culture is the result of endless stimulation that triggers the mind constantly. It has to remain open, question itself. There is so much agitation. So the question is whether we really want to have a perfect peace. This is a very crucial question, because basically perfect peace is like in a way wanting to dissolve. You see, if you want perfect peace, it's like wanting to retire. Retire from life, since life in essence is friction, is a meeting place between different forces that forces us to constantly grow. But if we want that to end, then we of course begin to fantasize. And this is the thing. Humans, they have two, again friction, by the way, two different forces in them. One is the wish to peace. It's like the wish for peace. It's the wish for complete silence, for complete harmony. That everything is that you don't need to struggle all the time. And we have this need, of course. And this need also needs to be fulfilled. On the other hand, humans have the exact opposing element, which is the wish for expansion. And this is the problem with being a human, you see? It's like you want both. So what happens is that we struggle, but then we fantasize all the time about the end of struggle. And when we are in complete peace, there is something that is deeply unnatural, unalive, to be completely at peace. And we begin to create our own friction. Sometimes simply through thoughts and emotions. We begin to have steering desires and wishes and longings. That's why you can try to be in complete peace in meditation, but then there is something. What is it? This thing inside us. Some teachers say this is horrible. This needs to die completely. Like, don't have it. Okay, but I say no. This is life. It's called life. It's the fire of life. Sometimes the fire of life, when we don't get the point, we don't master the fire of life, it becomes simply endless desire that is not really satisfying, not really elevating, not really evolving. But when we know how to master the fire of life, we turn the friction into endless growth and expansion. And this puts us in a very extraordinary state. It is attaining, on the one hand, we strive to attain perfect peace, perfect silence, which we have to. Remember, seventh dimension. But on the other hand, there is some blessed eternal restlessness. And this restlessness is not bad when we know how to master it and how to use it for beautiful purpose, which is the purpose of evolution and self-overcoming, which we said is exactly the same. Take it like this. If I told you this sentence, life is an eternal struggle to overcome, an eternal struggle of overcoming. Does this sound to you terrible?
Interesting.
Interesting. Good.
Likely.
Yes. If these words, they sound bad, we need to understand that what we do is we basically resist the nature of life. We try to constantly to make life into something that it is not meant to be and cannot be. Eternal peace. You see? Yes. Life comes from eternal peace. In life's innermost, there is the source, which is not even energy. In the source, there are no opposites. We need to know this source through deep meditation, through samadhi. But this source seems to like very much the play of opposites. Otherwise, why would it bother, right? Why would all this come into being with a tremendous complexity? Is it a mistake? Or is it part of the divine play and full of purpose? Because this is the only way we can ever study, learn. For me, all my greatest leaps in life were the result of friction. Whether internal or external. The thing is that for you too. Basically, everything that we say here, even remember yourself all day long. What is this? Basically, I'm saying, create a friction. This is friction. This is uncomfortable. Why would you do that? Especially when most of the time, you don't have to do that. Right? When things are flowing smoothly, why would you create this effort? Now to remember myself. But everything is okay. Why would I need to remember myself? And you see, this is why life brings friction to you. Because you would not do it by yourself. Simply. When do people come to me? When they are perfectly at peace? When do they come to me? When they have friction. So aside from the fact that this brings me work, and that's why it is very, very good. Otherwise, what would I do, What? Sit at home and in samadhi? Come on. This is, spiritual teachers, even when after they reach like a complete absorption, then they go and busy themselves all life with others' frictions. You see why? Because they can't be without it, so they take it from the others. Because the friction and even the tension between the forgetfulness of the student and the remembrance of the teacher, this energy, this creates beautiful things, you see? The not knowing and the knowing, it creates such amazing moments in life of evolution. So People come to me because they are irritated, because something doesn't work, which means that the very drive to liberation is friction. There is this what makes us driven. This what causes us to evolve. Otherwise, we would not do it. Only very few would be in heaven. That's why, by the way, they don't say it, this is quite true, that the angels are jealous of humans, because humans can evolve, but they cannot. You see, angels, even if they are just pure light, they cannot change themselves in a way. They can be just who they are. While this dimension can actually create liberation, which is different, you see? Standing out.
They could work on their jealousy then.
That's quite brilliant. I like this. You hear that? I'm sorry? Maybe yes. Maybe we can build a center in heaven also. Yes, Cairo Yoga Center. We begin to accept that and to love that, something radically changes here. In our relationship with this layer of life. Life as constant struggle. Because you see, our problem is that we struggle with the struggle. This is why we suffer. There is the nature of life, then we want it to be peaceful. Then we suffer. And we lose a lot, not a lot, unbelievable amount of energy when we struggle against the struggle. You see? There is like something comes, any irritation from the inside or the outside, we want to kill it immediately. There's like an emergency state in the body and in the mind. What? Something is wrong. Must come back to a state where everything is okay. It's dangerous. Now, of course, this is a survival signal that we really don't want. You see? When there is a huge grizzly bear approaching you hungrily right now, wanting to devour you, probably use that survival signal. But unless, I don't know, you really want the release from life. But mostly we resist that which is most beneficial to us, you see? And this is the struggle. Actually, these are our greatest moments, our better moments. Because in the peaceful moments, unless we have trained ourselves, and unfortunately we do not usually, we would not take the trouble to remember ourselves, to transcend. We just would not do it. You see?